because we started a conversation about women yesterday and it ended up in issues about fertility. Today we're going to be joined by Dr. Promise Sepogan, who's joined us here this morning. And he's served as an external expert reviewer for WHO infertility guidelines, a WHO consultant, national vice president of the Fertility Society of Ghana, and also immediate past secretary general. Look, he knows the stuff when it comes to these issues. He's an obstetrician gynecologist. Teacher Promise, like I call him, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us once again.
Good morning, sir. Big boy Wilson. It's a pleasure to join you again, Winston Kofi Amwa.
Pleasure to have you in studio. But this one, I want us to start from this message. It says, good morning. My wife is, 16 weeks and at the age of 41. Please, will she need to have a safe delivery due to the age? From Wallace Man. The wife is 16 weeks pregnant.
16 weeks pregnant.
But she's 41 years.
41, yeah.
And he's concerned about safe delivery.
That's a genuine concern. Because there's something we call advanced maternal age. When a woman is pregnant after age of 35, there are concerns of the pregnancy suffering some potential complications. The commonest one is that the blood pressure could be high. Blood pressure could be high, and then that can progress into something we call preeclampsia. And so once we know that she is 41, then she is in that high risk group, and so her management is tailored for persons in that category. What is most important is for her to receive good regular antenatal care. Things like some medications will be given to her to minimize the risk of these things as much as possible. There's another risk of developing a high blood sugar in this pregnancy called gestational diabetes, also just because of the age. There's a risk that the placenta, what we call the afterbirth, could be located in a lower position than it should normally be just because of the age.
Okay.
There's a slight risk that the baby could have some issues with abnormal formation. So at about 20 to 22 weeks, she's going to have a detailed ultrasound scan to look at the brain, look at the spine, look at the heart, look at the kidneys, look at everything in detail, and to tick all the boxes that baby is fine. Or, okay, there's some issue that we need to do A, B, or C to intervene, either when baby is still in the uterus or soon after baby is born, so that all these are planned. It is also likely that her labor might require some intervention, say a cesarean section. So these are the likely things that may happen. Most important thing is that it's a high-risk pregnancy. She needs to be seen at a place where there's at least a specialist obstetrician gynecologist.
Okay. Great. This message says, please ask doctor whether men also have age limitations in terms of fertility.
Very important. A lot of the time, we have grown feeling that men they cannot suffer infertility with age, and then people will refer to Abraham in the Bible. Winston, do you remember Abraham in the Bible?
But if you refer to Abraham, you also refer to Sarah.
Absolutely.
She was also very old.
But we know that the older a man gets, particularly after age 40, what we call the time to conception increases, because the sperm quality is also reducing. Unlike women, men are always producing new sperms every 3 months. Okay. Unlike women, like we said yesterday, they are born with a pre-packed set number of eggs, and so there are major concerns of the eggs aging as the woman is growing. In the case of the men, they are making new sperms, but then as you're growing, the ability to make better quality sperms also reduces. Also, things like uncontrolled or poorly controlled blood pressure, high blood pressure, and diabetes, which tend to happen when you're in the 40s and going, they also affect the quality of the sperm. And so men also have the tendency to suffer some decrease in sperm quality and then the concentration of the sperm with age. And that affects the time to conception the older a man gets.
Okay. So even as a man, as you grow,
there are concerns, yes. It's not as drastic as that of the woman, but then there are concerns.
Okay, so this whole thing about, oh, as for a man, even in my 80s, I'm still very fertile. It's
Gotta
not,
watch it.
it's not always the case. The phone lines have been activated now. You get to ask all your questions about fertility. 0302 216 541 and then 055 1111 997. 055 1111 997. So, Doc, let's start off it this way. Let's say for that couple that seeks a child, what should they be doing?
Okay. So there's the whole concept of what we call pre-conception care, but we don't seem to do that as much as we should be doing in our part of the world.
Okay.
You see, because that's the opportunity that a couple thinks they are ready to conceive now, so they come to the hospital and receive care. There are so many things we need to check to make sure that we optimize their well-being in order to guarantee safe pregnancy and pregnancy outcome.
I'll come to those things that we have to check, but let me get onto the phone lines because Thomas is in Adringano and he's joined us now. Thomas, good morning.
Good morning, Vincent. Please, how are you doing?
God is still taking care of his children. I believe you're fine too.
Yeah, I'm very well.
Okay. Please go ahead.
Please, I want to ask the doctor this few questions, this small question. Okay, I'm 44 years of age, and for the last 7-8 years now, I've had about 3 ladies that who've never complained about pregnancy. Anyway, I have 4 kids already from my previous marriage, in which my first one is 17, the last one is 10. And so for the last 7 years, almost 2-3 ladies that have gone out have never complained about pregnancy. And so I want to find out, is there something wrong with me? Where do I have to go to check if I'm fertile or not?
Now, Thomas, let me just ask this. Have you been trying to have children with these 2 or 3 women?
Not really. Not
really. Thomas.
But I was expecting maybe we have some, let's say, raw intercourse goes on, at least some walking here and there should have something like that. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Thomas. Thank you very much. We'll get Doc to answer your question. Let's go to Medina, where Daniel is. Daniel, good morning. Amagama follow her phone. Okay.
I'm 49. I have to ask doctor, what will I do to improve my system and what type of food can we also eat? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Daniel from Medina. You want to know the foods to eat to actually boost fertility as a man. Okay. You can also join us 0302 216 541 and then 055 1111 997. Yao in Teshi. Yao, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Yao.
Yes, I want to have children. Okay. I'm 60 and my spouse is 31. What is your advice for me?
Okay. You are 60 and your wife is 31.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I think we could just pick 5 more calls. 5 calls at a time and get Doc to address the questions. Chidiak is in South La. Chidiak, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Please, I want to know from the doctor, since bringing forth birth 20 to 30, that is when our youth must produce their children before they move into the 30s. The economy of this country is not supportive of that. So what are they doing as doctors for policy formulation towards the youth upbringing? Otherwise, our society is in danger. What does it think about that? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chidiak. We'll pick the last call for now. Peter in Teshi. We'll go back to Teshi. Peter, good morning.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, Peter. I believe you're fine also.
By His grace, everything is fine.
Great, Peter.
I would like to find out, when you are old and you give birth, what happens to the strength of the baby? Is it the same as when you are young?
Okay. All right. When you're old and you give birth, what happens to the baby, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Peter, for joining us. Belinda is at Burma Camp. Belinda, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, Belinda.
Please, I want to find out. I'm 41. I have 3 children. My last, okay, not the last one, the third one is 8. But I want to give birth again. Is this advice?
You want to give birth again?
Yes, one more.
Okay. All right, Belinda. We'll get Doc to, address your question. You have 3. The last one is 8 years. Okay. From Belinda, let's get to Bernice. Bernice in OEB. Bernice, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, Bernice.
Please, I'd like to ask God a question.
Please go ahead.
Please, I'm 36 years.
36.
I've been married for almost 3 years.
Married for how many years?
Almost 3 years.
Okay.
I don't have a child yet.
Okay.
I'm diabetic and I'm on insulin mixed. And I've also been having severe menstrual pains. My menstrual is not regular. Please, I would want you to help me out. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Doc would address that. Let's go to Agogo, where Nkansa is. Nkansa, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what I want to ask Dr. is, there is a friend of mine who used to complain of waist pain.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result of that, he is now complaining of something like fecal excretion when he is not ready for it. I want to find out if a doctor has any advice for him.
How old is he?
Like 35 years.
5'5".
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Nkansa. I think we can get Doc to address the questions now, or we can just pick one final caller. So 0302216541 and then 0551111997. Give us a call and we'll get Dr. Promise Sepuga to address the question. Okay, Doc, I'm told we can get you to address the questions now.
All right. Sounds like a busy clinic, huh?
It is actually. Thomas starts by saying that he has 4 children, but within the last 7 years or so, he's been with 2 or 3 women. Engaged in unprotected sex, but there's never been an issue. And he's, whether there's an issue with him, yes.
Yeah. So, Winston, generally, over the past 3 to 4 decades, there is an increasing rise in male infertility globally. Okay, by about nearly 20%, and that's of concern. And there are things that are driving it. Lifestyle is one, environmental factors as well. So it is very possible that the man has fathered 2 or 3 children in the past, and then suddenly things are not happening again. On the part of the man, it could mean that the sperm, male fertility revolves around the sperm. The number of sperm cells per drop of the semen, how they move, we categorize it. Are they moving swiftly in the forward direction, or haphazard, or they are not moving at all? And then how they look like. They have to be normal, have to be a round head, a long neck, and a very long tail. So these 3 things, if they don't happen properly, then there are concerns that the sperms cannot fertilize the egg, or if they fertilize the egg because the sperm is abnormal, the egg cannot implant, or if it implant, the pregnancy would miscarry. So it could be that as a result of aging, there are issues with the sperm now compared to when he was younger, about 7 years ago. Now, things that could have contributed to that possibility is his weight. Is it likely he has gained more weight now than before? Has he been more stressed by life and not managing the stress well? Has he been taking more alcohol? Has he developed hypertension or diabetes, which are not well controlled? These are potential things we need to look at. Rule them out, or otherwise, then we can say, okay, now, could it be an issue on the part of the woman? Because it could also be the woman. But having been with 3 ladies and nothing has happened, so 3 different ladies, 1 man, then I'm tempted to think more that we should focus a lot on the man in this case. Yeah. So there's a way to investigate systematically. We'll be able to figure out what the problem is. We'll solve the problem. And if he wishes to have more children, Thomas, we can do that.
Okay. Daniel wants to know if there are any foods that he can eat to boost his fertility as a male.
Yes, and that's a very important one, because a lot of lifestyle affect the man's fertility. And so a lot of processed foods do not help. Let's keep it natural as much as possible. That's the thing. And so in particular, your vegetables, whole grains. Now, egg without a yolk, because egg yolk has a lot of cholesterol that we need to be careful about. Egg. And then when you consume ginger, it helps. And then nuts. You know, our local belief that tiger nuts are power. Yeah, so nuts in general. For example, tiger nut.
Tiger nuts, they have, what do people say, is it true?
It's true. Why are the boys happy here?
I like the hesitation. Oh, okay.
You know, so nuts in general. And these are natural things, and they have a lot of health improving benefits.
But Doc, before you continue, because you've mentioned tiger nuts, some of the boys also use it as bitters. And they say it helps. But the doctors have also warned the boys against the bitters.
Yes.
So which is which?
So once you mention bitters, you're talking about alcohol.
Yes.
Now, alcohol is an enemy to your fertility as a man.
Thank you.
Okay? Because alcohol damages the sperms. It damages to the point of affecting how normal the sperm is formed. It affects how the sperm moves. It affects the concentration of the sperm. And also goes to affect the DNA of the sperm. We call it DNA fragmentation. Okay? So it poses so much risk to your fertility function. The other thing which is dreadful about alcohol is chronic use will drive down your testosterone. Now, testosterone is the male hormone. So that's what's able to make you have your erection. Gives you your muscle. And then that's what drives your sexual desire. So immediately you might think, oh, it makes you feel like you are ready. But chronic use affects your testosterone, and then your libido is going away with it. And then erectile dysfunction follows. And then I'm afraid. So avoid alcohol as much as possible, particularly high amount of alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. So the nuts are healthy, and then your fruits and your vegetables, and keep a healthy weight. Regular exercise does it. It improves your testosterone, improves your health overall, and then minimize the risk of you developing diabetes and hypertension. So with all these, and avoid a lot of environmental exposures like the air pollution, we call it traffic or industrial emissions. You know, avoid exposure to them. And then the elephant in the room, the heavy metals from the galamsey we are all worried about. You know, they get into the system, damage the ability of you to make normal sperms. Sperms become so badly abnormal, they cannot fertilize the egg, or if they manage to fertilize the egg, the pregnancy forms is abnormal. The baby comes with abnormalities if it stays to term at all.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Apart from affecting your general health.
Now, Yao, it says he's 60 years and his partner is 31 years. What's your advice on childbirth?
Good. I'm happy the partner is 31. I mean, in terms of the age of the woman. So she's good. We expect a good egg quality compared to if she was also much older. Yao is 60. What it means is we would have some concerns about his general well-being, high blood pressure, high blood sugar. We need to check those to optimize his health. Then there will be some concern about the quality of his sperms by virtue of his age, like we started with. And so he would need some supplements to boost the sperm quality. If it turns out that the sperm counts are too low when we check, and to the extent that they cannot fertilize the eggs, then they will be a couple that will be a candidate for one of the assisted reproductive technologies, where we have to put the woman on some injections, get multiple eggs instead of just one egg. When the eggs are ready, we take them out, take his sperm, look down and see the few good ones, and then pick it and inject the eggs in order to fertilize it. Fertilize all these eggs, allow them a few days to develop, then we pick the best developing one or two, put back in the womb of the woman to solve the problem if it turns out that he's got major issues with the sperm. And that is what we call IVF, with intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Yeah,
that's a mouthful. Chidiak is talking about the fact that yesterday you said, women in their 20s, most fertile, it's better they have all their children by 35 years. But that's also the time that many young people are engaged in these vices. So why aren't you, the doctors, urging the government through policy formulation to deal with this?
Yeah, that's a genuine concern which I will take notice of. But it's important to know that while the government is playing their part, we also need to know. So give you the knowledge that yes, at that age you're supposed to have finished school and got work doing. Once you are stable, the next thing is think about your fertility function, because delaying it further will just lead to regret.
Okay. Now Peter says, if you're old and you have a child, what happens to the baby?
Yeah, that's a very important one, because you remember yesterday I said a lot of women are delaying childbirth till late in pursuit of career, professional advancement, which is a great thing, because I aspire to women leading. Women are better managers than men. Do you not agree?
Oh, I do.
Yes. Okay. So we encourage them to climb as high as they would, but then not at the expense of reproductive function. So if there's a way to pause and quickly tick these boxes and then carry on, if you don't think that is feasible for you, then before you hit 35, your eggs are great. Let's harvest them and freeze for you. After you have climbed all and you are good, you come back and we can use that. So because the older a woman gets, the poorer the egg quality. There's something we call age-related fertility decline. Okay, and it affects women, it affects men, but mostly the effect is pronounced on the woman, because they have a limited number of eggs you are born with. Nothing can change that. Yesterday somebody called and we spoke for about 30 minutes. Doctor, can you not increase my egg? Can you not? I have to explain it over and over and over again, because you were born with a set number. Every month you lose 10 to 20. There is no way I can put new eggs back into your ovaries. There is no medication for that. Yes, we are getting to a point where we think we will be able to manufacture human eggs. We're getting there with all the advancements. Last 2 years in one of our meetings in the US, there was a big discussion and we're all excited. But that is far from being the norm now. And there are ethical concerns from that anyway. And so do not delay it further, because there are risks of just having difficulty getting pregnant the older you are. If the pregnancy happens, increased risk of miscarriage, and you don't want to go through that, because it causes a lot of psychological, emotional distress. There's a risk that the baby may not form well, and then pregnancies when you are much older tend to have more complications.
Sure.
So those are the reasons why it is best earlier rather than later.
Now Belinda says she's 41, she has 3 children. Is it advisable to have another child?
So reasons why this question will come up is either she's got all girls or she's got all boys and wanting another to balance it, or she's got a new partner. So depending on the situation, 41, if you've already have 3 and there's really the need, it's okay, we can help you too. There is help for you. We only have to remember when you get pregnant that it's a high risk pregnancy by virtue of your age. If however it has to do with the desire for a particular gender, then your best bet is what we call IVF with gender selection. So we do a bit of genetic testing to see, okay, these are the male bearing embryos, these are the female ones, and depending on what you want, we select those and help you to have that. If it's an issue of having changed partners, yes, you try and do so earlier rather than waiting further. If you try, because you're 41, you try for up to 6 months and it's not happening, you need to seek help, because you don't have to wait for 1 full year, which is the standard definition for infertility.
Okay. Now, Bernice says she's 36. She's married for about 3 years. She has no child. She's diabetic. She has severe menstrual pains and irregular menstrual cycle.
Yeah. So Bernice has a couple of issues which are working against her ability to conceive. You know, the fact that she's past 35, she's 36.
Yes.
She should have sought help right after 6 months. Because when a woman is 35, and they've been together, tried conceiving for up to 6 months and it hasn't worked, look for help. If you're below 35, we say try up to 1 year. If it's not happening, look for help. And look for help together with your partner. It's best you come in together. Because the woman comes, we've gone through all the checks, we talk to you, okay, now we need to also check your husband. Because he was not there in the consultation. You know, men are ego and things, they go to the house, they won't listen to you. Because already the man thinks that...
Because society creates the impression that a man cannot have a problem.
Exactly. You know, we say we tend to wrongly confer some cultural diplomatic immunity on the men. Meanwhile, I'll share with you yesterday some local data we are reviewing. We found that up to 70% of the cases, couples who are unable to conceive, that they've come, up to 70%, the issue has to do with the men. You see, 7 out of 10. Meanwhile, everybody in the church, in the market, in the workplace, they are pointing to the woman, just worsening their psychological and emotional distress, and then makes them stress. And the stress, when your body is stressed, it produces something called cortisol, and that disrupts your hormones. So it makes it a vicious cycle. That makes it difficult to conceive. You know, so Bernice has problem of diabetes. Diabetes has a way of affecting the quality of a woman's eggs, because it doesn't allow the hormones that the way the ovary responds to your internal hormones to be as efficient. So that is there, and that will make it a bit difficult to ovulate regularly, and that's a problem. She mentioned that she's got painful menses. There's one notorious condition called endometriosis, and that is so terrible. Women who have that, they go through difficult menstrual cycles every month, severe pain, debilitating pain, very distressing. A few of them are not lucky. So endometriosis is that the cells that are supposed to be found on the inner side of the womb, they have developed outside through no fault of theirs, you know. And so when they are outside, whenever the woman is having her menses and she's flowing, wherever those cells are, they're also bleeding. So they bleed into the abdomen, and that irritates the abdomen, causes a lot of pain. Some are not lucky, and the cells are found around the belly button. So they have a small nodule there. When they have their menses, they are bleeding through here. A few people are very unlucky. Those cells develop in the brain. So she's having her menses, she's bleeding in the brain, she's having seizures every month. Okay, so if it's in the pelvis, it adds to one of the causes of severe menstrual pain, which is why we say, for instance, that if you have painful menses, don't listen to the old women who just say it's normal for a woman to go through that.
They say if you get pregnant and you give birth, it will stop.
Yes, one group of that is true. Okay, but you are not able to tell as a young girl. So if you are having painful menses, seek help. Let's figure out what is the cause in your case. Then we can advise, and there is solutions. Okay, so I am suspecting there could be some endometriosis at the background there, because, and then she's also having irregular cycles, which may be related to the diabetes. I'm not sure about her weight. So there are a couple of issues we need to solve, but the good thing is the age is still favorable, and she should be able to get help and to conceive. Okay. So Bernice, seek help and you will be fine.
Nkansa said his friend complained about waist pains and is degenerated into something else.
Yes, that sounds like a major problem. Waist pain in a 55-year-old, either there's something wrong with the prostate, And so typically our men would try to brave things out. I'm sure they've done a lot of herbal things or done a lot of massage, but this needs urgent medical professional attention, because he says the man is not able to hold his feces. So it means the muscle at our anus, which controls the outlet, is loose. Something is affecting it. It could also be that he's got a spine problem, so the nerves are weak, so they're not able to control that. So he needs, and if it's a spine problem, it tends to be progressive. The next thing, the person is unable to walk, is getting paralyzed. So whatever it is, he needs to seek help, thoroughly investigated, and appropriate interventions to help.
Okay, let's go back to our phone lines and pick the next round of calls on 0302216541, 0302216541, and then 05511119997. But Doc, Ivy in Kumasi says, good morning, Winston. Please, I've tried to conceive for 13 years now, but to no avail. I've had a high prolactin for a decade. My doctor gave Duxton's medical, wasn't working. I'm now 48 and my menstrual cycle is not normal again. I just want to have that one baby to put smiles on my face. Now I have no options. Donor egg and adoption is a no-no to my partner. Now social media is coming out with more medications, but sometimes I feel like trying them. I urgently need help. If I knew about egg preservation 30 years ago, I would have done that. I still want to have that child.
Yeah, it's a typical narrative. If I had known about this, which is why I say, thank you to multimedia that we get a chance to, educate our people, because there is a way to prevent these from happening. Unfortunately, Ivy is here now. At age 48, you have very little egg reserves. And the evidence is the fact that your menses have become irregular. So some of the cycles you don't ovulate at all, just because the reserves have become that low. The surest bet is to consider the use of donor eggs, where we get a donor that matches your biological profile. They go through the injections, we take out the egg, fertilize with your partner's sperms, and then you carry. Or adoption. Trying at this age appears difficult with your own eggs. Yeah, it's difficult. Occasionally it might work, but there are two issues we are dealing with. You take the injections repeatedly and then you are not developing eggs. Now, that goes with a lot of psychological trauma. You have to be on this shot for about 12 to 14 days daily at about the same time, and we don't get anything from it, and there is a cost to it. There's emotional investment in it. Then if we happen to find some eggs and we fertilize them, we cannot be so sure about the quality. So then there's another layer of intervention you may require, if at all we get some eggs, where we have to do genetic testing on the embryos after we have fertilized the eggs, just to make sure that they are good before we implant them. But the biggest challenge is getting the eggs in the first place at this age. A few people have been lucky and they conceived even naturally way into the late 40s, but that's not very common. So yes, if that is the only thing you really want to do, we can give it a try. Control the high prolactin, give it a try, but with a low threshold. You should also have a way of convincing your partner. You need to bring him over when you are going for care, that a professional should also explain to him that in this age group and beyond, our best bet has been the use of donor eggs to put a smile on your face.
Okay, let's get back onto the phone lines. Francis, good morning. Oh, okay, I think we've lost Francis, which means we can go to Elikem in Committee 25. Elikem, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine, Elikem. I believe you're fine also.
I'm also fine.
Great, Elikem. Go ahead.
I want to ask doctor.
Kindly speak up. We can hardly hear you.
Stop menstruation for the past 10 years and she's 48 years. Is it possible having a child again?
Elikem, say that again. Okay, I think Doc is here. Doc, you heard her?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I was struggling to hear you. Okay, Elikem, thank you very much. Doc would address that question for you. You can also join us. But this one says, Doc, My daughter started her menstruation at the age of 13, and she's never had a regular cycle. It mostly flows every month or after 2 months. The flow is mostly 7 days and heavy. She has pains during her ovulation or menses sometimes, but not severe. She's 17 years now. Is there any cause for alarm?
Okay. Shall I?
Yes, please address it.
Great. Elichem first, isn't it?
Yes, Elichem first, then we get to this.
Yes, Elichem. So the 48-year-old whose menses have stopped for 10 years, you said, but wants to conceive, and you're asking if it is possible to conceive through IVF. The answer is yes, it is. It's possible to conceive no matter the age. Recently, somebody who had her babies at 56. She stopped menstruating for nearly 20 years with the use of the assisted reproductive technology, using donor eggs, and then so yes, it is possible. It is possible. It is. So just seek help. Now the 17-year-old who started having her flow at 13 years and has been irregular, there is something we call polycystic ovarian syndrome. And what happens is it's a genetic thing. The young girl is born with a tendency to have that. So when they attain the puberty and start having the menses, they tend to have it, and then a few months it breaks. So the menses will be skipping 2-3 months. It doesn't come. And because it doesn't come 2-3 months, when it is coming by itself, it tends to be heavier and might last a little longer than the normal. And so if that is the situation, we do a scan, we do some hormonal tests. Once we confirm it, we have a way of managing it. Some it's just lifestyle, particularly if they are overweight, it makes it worse. And so, and some would require some medication, some just lifestyle modification, and things will regularize. Some people do not experience this until they are a bit older, and then they are having these manifestations. The period will come 2-3 months, it doesn't come. Sometimes it doesn't come for a whole year. Meanwhile, she's still young, and so it means that the whole time she's not having the flow, she's not ovulating because of the hormonal disturbance. And this is somebody who will look a little overweight or big. They tend to have pimples. They tend to be hairy, female with a mustache, and then hair on the chest, hair on the tummy. And these are some of the warning signs that we are dealing with. And hairy legs, we are dealing with this polycystic ovarian syndrome. It affects your hormones, and so make you unable to ovulate. And so once you don't ovulate, natural conception becomes a problem. But then once we detect it, there are ways of dealing with it, including weight management. If left untreated, though, then there's a risk of developing diabetes in the future and cancer of the inside lining of the womb. And so these are things that should be reported so we can work through together.
Okay, let's get back onto the phone lines. Francis is in Ho. Francis, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, Francis.
All right, so I'm 41 and my wife is 41. So we had a son, and since last 2 years we had miscarriage, and we've been studying since then. So I want to ask Doc what I can do for us to get successful cancer.
You want to know what you should do to have children?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Francis. Let's go to Bato. Godfred, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Yes, my name is Godfred, calling from Bato.
Yes, Godfred.
I am 64.
You are 64.
I just got married to another woman. I fear there will be any complications as far as having a child, at least to add to the one I already had.
What's the woman's age?
She's 39.
39. Okay. All right. Listen to Doc. He would address that, which means we can come to Hacho, where Nanaya is. Nanaya, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, so I'll be 46 years this year, and I want to have a baby. Is there any risk and any advice the doctor could give.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nanaya. Dr. Sepugan would advise you. Doc Sarah says, please, where can I see Doc? I mean for consultation. Dr. Sepugan, if you want to come for consultation, let's just put that one out before I forget.
Yeah.
Okay. This one says, good morning. Kindly ask this for me. I'm almost 50 years, but I still menstruate 8 to 10 days with dysmenorrhea, like when it started in my late teens. My worry now is fibroids have been detected, and I'm planning to get it removed with a uterus. Any side effects, Doc?
Okay.
Yes.
Shall I?
Yes, please address them.
Great. So Francis said he's 41, and the partner is also 41. They have one son, and they had an unfortunate miscarriage recently. What can they do? So the miscarriage would be explained by the fact that the wife is advanced in age. That is it. So it is good enough that she was able to conceive at age 41. So in such circumstances, what we do is support them with some supplements to try to improve the quality of the egg and the quality of the sperm as well. Because for miscarriages to happen, particularly those that happen within the first 3 months of pregnancy, it means the baby did not form well. And once the baby did not form well, nature has a way of, stopping it from developing. And so then it miscarries. So when we see this, it could be that the egg was faulty, or the sperm was faulty, or both of them have a little bit of issues. So when we give the supplement to both of them, it improves the quality of the sperm and the eggs, and things should work out better. They don't have time though, so
you have to come now. And if you want to reach Dr. Sepugan at the Shape Healthcare Specialist Medical Center, is on the Eduardo Modlana Road, Latebia Koshi. You can call 0549 262 100 or 0302631880. Yes. And Godfred is 64. His wife is 39 years. He wants to know what he should do to have a child.
Yes. So the fact that your wife is 39 means she doesn't have a lot of time. And so once you have decided you want to have children, you should promptly go to seek help together for the preconception assessment. We check her egg reserves, we check her tubes, check your sperm, check your blood pressure, your blood sugar, to see if there are any things to correct. If you need any supplements to improve your sperm, either the quality, the count, the normal formation, and if there are things we need to supplement Madame's eggs, the quality of the eggs, if there are issues about her hormones, we deal with them. Check the inside of her womb, because the longer the womb stays without carrying pregnancy, they tend to develop fibroids. Check if there are any such concerns. We deal with them and promptly optimize for you to conceive.
Okay. Nanaya in Hacho says she's 46 years, but I will get Nanaya's question shortly. DJ in Tumu has joined us. DJ, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, DJ.
Yeah, I've been taking amlodipine for 2006, and recently I saw in Facebook that it has got a serious side effect. I don't know whether if that one is really, but it doesn't. I don't have any problem.
Okay.
Then the last one is that just about I eat every day, but a week ago I found it difficult to free myself, as I'm afraid.
Okay, DJ. Thank you very, very much. We'll get Doc to address your concerns. Let's go to Ajua now in Accra. Ajua, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Ajua. I hope you're fine.
Yes, I'm fine.
Great, Ajua.
Yes, please, I want to ask doctor some few questions.
Please go ahead.
Okay. I'm 43 years and I have 2 children. And now I want to conceive. I want to ask doctor if it's possible for me to carry it naturally, or I have to get a donor or surrogate.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ajua. We'll get Doc to answer that question for you. Maybe we could, start answering the questions again, Doc.
Great.
Nanaya asked about the fact that she's 46 and she wants to have a baby.
Yes. So Nanaya is asking if any advice for her. Yeah. So 46 to have a baby, yes, certainly that is good. And it's better than waiting till you are much older. So for you, there's certainly going to be the need to do some initial assessment to check your hormones, to check your egg reserves, and that will help us to be able to predict to some extent whether it could happen naturally or you're going to need some assistance. Also, there's a place to assess if your uterus is okay, the womb is okay, the inside is okay, there are no fibroids distorting the inside that will make it pregnant, that will make pregnancy difficult, or that can increase the risk of a miscarriage. And also to check the tubes, because you need the tubes for fertilization to happen. Once we have checked all these things, and if there is a man, we also take a look at his sperm to see if there are any concerns, address them, and then we have you try for up to 6 months. If it does not work, then we have to escalate to the next level of intervention to help you conceive. So yes, it's certainly possible to conceive. You need an initial assessment, and then we see what you will need to help you achieve the goal.
Okay. DJ seems to have some concerns with the medication he's taking.
Yes, before then there's a 50-year-old who says her bleeding has become prolonged and she's been told she has fibroids, right? So so at that age, it's not normal to be having that prolonged menstrual flow. So it is very likely that the heavy prolonged flow you're having is because of the fibroids. And so if the fibroids at age 50 were not causing any problems, we could just wait it out, because you are going to soon have your menopause where you're going to go bleed again. The fibroids don't grow bigger once you've hit your menopause, because the female hormone estrogen is what feeds the fibroids. But once these fibroids are giving you heavy menstrual bleeding, then we have to do something about it. What we do about fibroids when they are causing problem is we have to remove them. Okay. So if you are done having children, then we remove the fibroid together with the uterus and the cervix. The uterus is where the fibroids are. So you take it out together because you are done having children. The other advantage is once we take it out, the cervix, which is the neck or the mouth of the womb, also goes away, and the risk of cervical cancer goes with it. If you are younger and yet to have children, then we do the surgery, just remove the fibroid, repair the uterus back, and it's there to carry your pregnancies for you. And so fibroids are common. The problems they cause include heavy bleeding. The bleeding could be heavy in terms of coming with clots compared to previously, or the duration has become longer. The normal duration of the menses is between 2 to 7 days. Anything beyond that is abnormal. And the bleeding should not be so much that it is soaking your underpants and you are changing your pads far too often. If that is happening, there's something wrong. If it is due to fibroids, then they have to be removed. If they are not so big, we can remove it through what we call laparoscopic surgery, where we don't make a big cut. We do a keyhole, a tiny cut here, little here, and we put the instrument there, and we're watching on the screen, pretty much like playing a video game, and then we remove them. Unfortunately, a lot of the fibroids we see here are big, and they require that we open up nicely, see them, handle them, take them out, repair the uterus for you. There are no herbs that will melt fibroids. We've had far too many concerns of women drinking gallons of herbal preparations to melt the fibroids. These are tumors, they are growths in the womb. Nothing can melt it. So if it's problematic, it has to be removed. Unfortunately, few women have been given herbs to insert in a birth canal. These are very strong. They go and bend the place, and the place has become stuck together. So the woman cannot see her flow. They cannot have sexual intimacy because the vagina is closed. The fibroids are still there. The menstrual flow is stuck there every month, so the tummy is getting bigger. So, my dear women, fibroids do not respond to herbal medication.
Okay. Yes, and DJ, who has concerns with some medication that he was giving.
Yes, DJ, you said you've been taking amlodipine, which is a great medication to control blood pressure. And I'm happy you have been taking it, and I wish you've been taking it religiously, because a lot of men, we give them blood pressure medication and they said things like, it's not making me attain good erections, and they stop. And once you stop taking your blood pressure medication, the blood pressure shoots up. And there have been reported cases of he missed the medication for 2-3 days, the next day he had a stroke, and that's the end. Okay, so kudos that you're taking your blood pressure medications, and you're saying you have not had any issues with it, but you have read somewhere that it can have side effects. DJ, don't worry about what you have read. Some different people react to different medications differently. If somebody else has taken them and they have issues, we advise that come back. There are different types of medications to control the blood pressure. So if one is bothering you, we switch to another one which will work better for you. So carry on. Never be bothered about what you have read. The fact that you say about a week you have not been able to ease yourself, that amounts to constipation. So we need to check. You need to eat fruits, vegetables every day. Daily fruits and vegetables, and then drink not less than 3 liters of water in a day. These help for us to have good bowel motion. Because if you're having constipation, it doesn't help, because the waste stays in the body for too long and affect the cells, and there's a risk that it can lead to some cancer of the intestine. And so also, based on your age, it might be good to seek help if you do the diet and it's not working, so that we can investigate and see what to do to help you.
Now, Adjoa says she's 43, she has 2 children. She wants to conceive again, if that's possible.
Yes, why not? Adjoa, it's very possible. The only thing is, because of the age, you don't delay it further. So start working at it. It is very possible you have been pregnant before, you have carried to term, you have delivered. So there's really no need for a donor yet or surrogate yet. Surrogacy happens if there's concern that you're having repeated miscarriages, or we've had to remove your womb for one problem or the other, or you have some medical problem which will make it difficult or unsafe for you to carry pregnancy. In the absence of these, you're able to carry your pregnancy. But if you try and it's not working, that is when we will now want to consider the place of donor eggs to do IVF for you. But start trying first. If you do for up to 6 months it's not working, then we need to assess and see what else we can do to help you.
Okay. Awo in Tema says, I've been trying to get pregnant, and during my visits to the doctor, he ran some scans and told me I have cysts in my ovaries. However, he says they are tiny and could get corrected through weight loss. I have lost some considerable amount of weight, and yet I still can't get pregnant. I'm tired of trying because I just turned 44 and do not wish to try again, but rather try to see if I could save money for surrogacy. What's your advice? Let's get back onto the phone lines. Irabna is in Tema. Irabna, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Irabna, go ahead with your question.
Okay. My daughter last year menstruated from almost 1 year, from February to December. We have to use drug to stop it. And then when it stopped, 3 days to come back. And she's so slim. I'm just wondering what can be done for her.
How old is she, please?
She's 18.
Okay.
All right, Rabna, thank you very, very much. Doc, I think we can just deal with that, yes.
Okay, great. So, is Awo?
No, this is Rabna. Awo is the one that has the cyst.
Yes, okay. So, Awo, your condition sounds like what I mentioned, like what we call the polycystic ovarian syndrome, where there are so many tiny follicles. The follicles are where the eggs, where the eggs develop, and they are supposed to get big to a particular size, then the eggs can release. But in this condition of polycystic ovarian syndrome, you have so many of them trying to develop at the same time, and they are all stuck. So none of them really gets to a point to ovulate, which is why, and like I mentioned earlier, when your weight is high, it makes it worse. It affects the hormones more. It affects your insulin level. So that is what your doctor has tried to correct. If after all that it's still not working naturally, sometimes we use medications to make sure you ovulate. Then we say, okay, the eggs are ready now. Go meet with your partner over this specified number of days. If that does not work, then we use injections. If that does not work, then we consider the IVF. And so the age is running out. You don't have a lot of time. And so if those have not worked, then I agree with you. It is time to consider some form of assisted reproductive technology, IVF, not necessarily surrogacy. IVF, where we put you on the injections, develop your eggs, and then we take them out and fertilize them for you, grow it for a few days, and then put back in the womb for you so you can have your babies.
Let me get back onto the phone lines, Doc. Sandra is in Accra. Sandra, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to find out where we can find the doctor. I think you mentioned it, but...
Okay, that's at Latebio Koshi. Don't worry, I'll share it again. Okay, Sandra, thank you very much. I'll share where you can find the doctor again. Let me just share it. You can find he's at Shape Health Care Specialist Medical Center, is in Latebio Koshi, the Eduardo Modlana Road. But you can call him on 0549 262 100, 0549 262 100, or 0302 631880. Franco in Accra says, good morning, Winston. With the explanation for the woman in her 40s who is 16 weeks pregnant, then it means my plan to have one child with the early 50 woman I want to marry this year should be abandoned. Doc.
No, not necessarily. If that's going to be, if you really need to, we help her to get pregnant. We know the risk and then we manage it, unless it's not necessary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's address Irabna's concern. Her daughter.
Yes, her 18-year-old daughter. So this is what we call abnormal uterine bleeding. Certainly there's a problem. Either the issue is having to do with her hormones, which is the commonest in that age group. So we need to assess the hormones, see where the hormonal imbalances, and then we use medications to correct it. And it's it is not uncommon. We see things like this quite often. And then with the medications, a bit of lifestyle modification, things work out nicely. So it's a shame this has gone on for up to a year. I can imagine the distress, but seek help and she can be helped. If for instance she's overweight, the starting point is to start working on her weight. Minimize the intake of animal products, meat, egg, cheese, milk, sausage, bacon, all the sweet things we enjoy. And then that's a starting point. Get on some regular exercise and then look for help. Assess the hormones need to be assessed, and then either she'll need some medications or some hormonal medications. She certainly can be helped, and then shouldn't continue that way.
Now this message says, hi Winston, tell Doc that the Yops and Ghanis in Ghana ignore adenomyosis. It's more painful than endometriosis. It goes undiagnosed and destroys fertility too. It's called the wicked cousin of endometriosis. So the pain is traumatic. Sadly, no attention is paid to it in Ghana. Doc.
Yeah, I agree. You know, like I said, endometriosis, when the cells that are supposed to be inside the uterus are found outside. In the case of adenomyosis, the cells that are supposed to be inside lining the uterus, they develop within the wall of the uterus. So each time the woman is bleeding during her flow, she's also bleeding into the muscle. And the blood irritates the muscle. And that is so much pain as well. And again, it's a problem, which is why if you have dysmenorrhea or painful menstruation, report to the hospital. The problem is not OBGYNs ignoring it. The problem is people not reporting it. You know, because if you report, we do the ultrasounds, can we able to see? And there are medications to help. You know, and so it's really about reporting it. And so to my colleague OBGYNs, the public says we are ignoring adenomyosis. Please, let's open our eyes to adenomyosis and help the women. But every woman with painful menses, don't just keep taking pain medications. Let's find out what is the cause and what is the best solution for you.
Okay.
Because some of these risk compromising your fertility.
Right, let's take a final caller before we go for a break. Yawa is in Dakoman. Yawa, good morning. Yes, Yawa.
I have family. One is menstruating. And what happens is she's 42 and she's hearing pain. And on 3 occasions, and she even fainted. The blood pressure went very low, and every month she's in pain. Every month. So please, I want to find out what is the cause.
Okay. Back to the questions. This one says, "Good morning, Doc. I'm turning 50 and have one child who is 11 years. I've tried several times to conceive, but I've miscarried 4 times. Would you advise I still try for a child? Do I have the chance? What are my options, Amma?" This one's from Mavis. Says, "Lately I have painful ovulations. I'm 43 now and my menses are normal. Am I okay if I want to have one more baby? I already have 2. This one says, "Good morning. I've not seen my period for almost a year now. I was once diagnosed with PCOS. What is the way forward to start having a good flow and possibly have children? I am 36. This message says, "Good morning, Doc. Please, I'm 46. Married for 4 years with 3 miscarriages. Now planning for IVF. Any advice for me?" And it's coming from Nancy. This one says, "I'm 49 and single. I don't have kids. My menses are not regular. There are some months I don't see the menses at all. Please help me. I want to have a child." It's from Jemima. Mabel says, "Good morning, Doc. Please, my daughter started her menses at 11. Her menses almost every 24 or 25 days. Is it normal? She's 13 years. And this one says, "At what age can a man's sperm be infertile if the person has no health issues? And also, my wife will turn 44 this year, but she can menstruate 2 times in a month. What might be the cause, please?" And this question says, "With donor egg, I have an issue with that. It makes the genetic makeup of the child as that of the donor and not the woman who carries the baby. To me, it's like the mother is a surrogate mother. Will that not have a psychological and emotional effect?" Doc, these are the questions we have.
All right. Thank you, Winston. So, Yawa has said that severe pain, the daughter, severe pains during her menses, and with some fainting episodes, and that raises a red flag. I mentioned that sometimes people who have endometriosis, the endometriotic tissue could be found in the brain, could be found in various other locations, and they can cause some of these problems. It could be that the young lady is having endometriosis or maybe adenomyosis based on the pain that the mother is describing, with the vomiting and the weakness and the blood pressure dropping. So this is something that you shouldn't just take as normal. She needs to be reported. We need to investigate thoroughly, find the exact cause, and then certainly there will be a way to help the young one. The Amma is 50 years old and says she's had repeated pregnancy losses. And that is not surprising, particularly at that age group. The older a woman gets, the quality of the eggs become a big issue, that they're unable to carry the pregnancies even when it happens naturally. So one of the ways to solve that is when we consider IVF. With donor eggs, then the eggs are much better in quality, because the donor is typically between 20 to 30 years, which we have established as the age where the woman has the best egg quality. And then the person who said he's got concerns about the donor egg and will it not have psychological effect. So the thing is, the donor is providing the egg. The couple, the man sperm we use to fertilize the egg, and the mother, the woman, the wife carries the pregnancy, gives birth to the baby, bonds with the baby, functions as a mother. That solves the problem of being childless. So the child will have the genetic material of the father and half from the donor, which is okay, because ultimately you raise the child, you socialize the child. That is your child, and that probably is the most important thing. So the woman does not suffer any psychological thing, because every patient going through any form of this assisted reproductive technology, we have you go through sessions with a clinical psychologist so that we work through together, because going through IVF is stressful. Suffering infertility is stressful. So the patient who has gone through several years of being not able to conceive is already very burdened with a lot of stress and anxiety. And so routinely having a session with a clinical psychologist helps to ease the burden helps you to cope better and then improve the outcome for you and also how you relate and function as a mother. There's a 43-year-old who complains of painful ovulation. She's got 2 children, wishing to have more. Yes, certainly there's a place to have more, but a painful ovulation, some amount of low abdominal pain on either the left or the right when you're ovulating is normal, but it shouldn't be something that is so pronounced to require medication. If it's getting that, then there may be something else. Either it's a pelvic infection or there's an ovarian cyst or something else that we need to investigate and deal with. And once we check and we clear you, then if you're 43 and you try conceiving 6 months, it does not work, then you need some intervention to help, maybe some medication to make sure you ovulate, and then with timing of when you have the intercourse, and that should be. And then somebody says she has PCOS and then considering having children. Yes, so when you have PCOS, about 40% are not able to ovulate naturally, and so you may need help, particularly if you have been told you have PCOS and you've tried for some time and it's not working. You may need some help to make sure you ovulate and then the pregnancy can follow, as well as some supplements that we use to improve the quality of the egg, because the PCOS has a way of affecting your egg quality. There's a 46-year-old who has been trying for 4 years and she's got 3 miscarriages. Again, that could relate to the egg quality. It could also be that there's something wrong with the inside of the womb, so that if the pregnancy implants, it doesn't stay. So we investigate, check the inside. If there is such a problem, we deal with it and then support some medications to improve the egg quality, and then we try at it again. If
she's planning for IVF.
Yeah, so if she's planning for IVF, we need to do that assessment of the inside of the uterus, because even before you put the IVF embryos in there, the inside needs to be optimized. Otherwise, you put that in there and it also miscarries. So she has to go through that assessment to check the inside of the uterus. Then there's a 49-year-old who is single and needs help to conceive. She's already having irregular menses. That means she's perimenopausal. That's what it means. So it is still very possible to get pregnant and have a baby. You certainly will do with some support, and so just seek help. You can be helped. A daughter who has her cycles every 24 to 25 days, that is normal. The normal menstrual cycle length can be from 21 days up to 35. So anything within that range is normal. So if she gets it every 24 25 days, that is normal. It only means that her cycles are shorter, and this is somebody who is likely to run out of her eggs at a relatively younger age, and so she'd be guided not to defer childbirth for too long. Somebody asked something about healthy sperms when the man is growing. Yes, so we have explained that men also suffer some decline in the quality of the sperm as we age, and so the earlier the better. Other things that affect the quality of the sperm is, as you are aging, you may be having issues with high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, alcohol, smoking, and these are all the enemies. So if you are diabetic or hypertensive, the advice is be diligent with your medication so we can control them, so to minimize the effect. The fear is also that these things also affect your erection. So if you don't fear the blood pressure, if you don't fear the impact on the sperm, you fear the impact on your erection. Then somebody said that the wife bleeds twice in a month. So that is not normal. And there's something we call intermenstrual bleeding, where the woman sees her period before she's expecting the next one, she's bleeding in between. Fibroids can cause that, cervical cancer, and other problems of the uterus. So that has to be reported.
If you can have your menses every 24 to 25 days, can't it be that in 1 month?
Yes, that is also there. And some have it at the beginning of the month and also at the end of the month.
Yes.
Those are normal cycles. But what is problematic is if it's shorter. You know that your flow happens here and you're expecting the next one, but you're bleeding in between. And it's quite common, particularly if they have fibroid or problems with what we call endometrial polyp or cervical cancer, things like that.
Okay. This one says, I'm 37 years, I have 3 kids. I don't want to have any more children. Do you have any recommendations for male birth control apart from condom and anything permanent? Tom in Adenta.
Absolutely, Tom. There's something we call vasectomy, where it's a very minor procedure we do.
But that's permanent. He says he doesn't want permanent.
Oh, he doesn't want anything permanent?
Yes.
Okay, no, so we don't have the male contraceptive pills as yet. It is now being researched. And so it has to be the condoms on your part, or you abstain, or we have to negotiate with your wife to do one of the reversible, what we call the long-acting but reversible methods, and then you are sorted. Because we are also concerned as much as possible about pregnancies happening when people are not ready. You know, yeah.
There's a very important message here, Dr. Sepoga. Now, Kay from Spinter says, "Hi Winston, within 2 years, my girlfriend who's 33 years is taking about 50 packs of Postino 2, all because of job security. Is it going to affect her fertility?"
50 packs, that's like a whole pharmacy shop. You know, we have this emerging concern from the rampant abuse of the emergency contraceptive pills. It's supposed to be an emergency. Okay, it's supposed to be an emergency, just like it sounds. But a lot of our young people are now using that routinely. And our concern is it has some effect on your hormones. It will disrupt your hormones. You know, plus what is most important is the rising trend in HIV infections. Now, you see, when you take the emergency contraceptive pills, it's like you are preventing unwanted pregnancy, which is good, because that is also a concern. But then it means you are engaging repeatedly in unprotected sex, and that's the danger. HIV rates are going up in our country, and then cervical cancer risk. This human papilloma virus, HPV, is sexually transmitted, and it's a big concern. In fact, is the commonest sexually transmitted infection, and we are told that 70% of sexually active men and women carry the virus. So if you count the number of us here in this studio plus those at the control room, 10 of us, 7 of you who are sexually active are carrying this virus. The good thing is majority would clear it, but for some it would linger on, and that is why cervical cancer is a big problem. Unprotected sex spreads the virus. It stays there for 10 to 15 years, and then cancer blooms because we are not screening to check, is there anything like that which could potentially be, and then we deal with it. So 50 packs of emergency contraceptive pills, that is too much. We would rather she gets onto some form of a long-term method. The thing about a long-term method is it could be the implant we put here under the skin in the armpit here. It stays there for up to 3 years or 5 years. That is its effective period. But as soon as you're ready, we take it out. You can have it inserted today, next week you are ready, we take it out. Or get on the pills which you take every day, or get an injection which you take either once a month or once in 3 months. Or we put in the IUD, the tiny coil inside the uterus, which is there, can be there for up to 10 years, but anytime you're ready, we take it out. Or if you have that and you're getting repeated vaginal discharge or infections, then you are not a good person for that, and we take it out.
Great. Michael says, "My wife and I have been married for 16 years. Earlier in our marriage, she miscarried twice, and between that period and now, she's had 3 surgeries to remove fibroids. We've gone through several tests, and she was found with some hormonal challenges that is preventing conception. Last year, my wife stopped menstruating, although she's 43 years. I also have low sperm count. I'll be 54 next month. Can we be helped?"
Certainly, there is help for every problem. Every problem has a solution. So the fact that she's had 3 previous surgeries to remove fibroids may question the integrity of the uterus to some extent, but that doesn't make it impossible to carry pregnancy. If his sperms are also low, there's a way to help. It appears that this is a couple that will need some form of assisted reproductive technology intervention, IVF most likely. If the uterus is assessed and is not able to carry, then we get a third party to carry for us, what we call the surrogate arrangement.
Okay. Doc, let's wrap it up this way. Before we wrap it up, we need to talk about sickle cell. It's one thing persons who are trying to marry, who are getting ready for marriage, don't think about. They don't know their sickling status. They get married and they give birth to anemic children.
Yeah.
What do you advise?
Yeah. So, thank you really, really, really kindly for bringing this up. Because, you see, in Ghana, 1 to 2% of newborns have sickle cell disease. So, if that translates into adulthood, so it means out of our population, you're talking about nearly 6 million of us who have sickle cell. Now, what that means is, is it 6 million?
No,
1%, that'll be 3, okay, about 600,000.
About 3, 1 to 2%, about 600,000.
600,000, yeah. And so, when these people grow, and this is the sickle cell disease, then we have those who have the carrier status, where you have the S, it can be AS, that's the carrier. So, if somebody has sickle cell disease, it affects in a woman, it affects the eggs. They run out of eggs quickly. They attain menopause earlier. Their egg reserves drop much earlier, just because of how the crisis happens. The tiny blood vessels to the ovary where the eggs are get blocked when they get a crisis. So repeatedly, the ovaries stop working at a much younger age. Okay, so they attain menopause earlier, run out of eggs earlier. On the part of the men too, the sperm production is impaired. Quality of the sperm is poorer. They tend to have issues with erection as well. Now, when these people have difficulty conceiving, it is because of this on the part of the man, on the part of the woman. Then the concern of the carriers. It would have been ideal that when you are born, we check your sickling status at birth, and you are told that, so that you know I am AS. So before you fall in love, when you see the pretty lady, first thing you ask, are you anything else? Then you know that you are not eligible, you move on. But we don't do that. And so a lot of people grow, I am AS, they've married. Now, if both of you are AS, each time there is pregnancy, there is 1 in 4 chance that you have a child that is SS. 25%. There is a 2 in 4 chance that it will be AS, and 1 in 4 that it will be AA. So this is at each conception, not that when you have 4 children, one will be this, one will be this. At each conception, this is what can play out. And so that's the danger. You don't want to give birth to babies with sickle cell disease. They go through too much. Every week or the other week, they are in crisis in the emergency room, having blood transfusion, they're missing school, they are in pain. Mother has to stop work, go to the emergency. It's so disruptive and very, 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 very stressful. I saw a post, somebody said, my parents, you were wicked to me because all you left me is pain, because you knew you were both SS, and why did you give me this? And it was really, really touching. So if both of you are AS, because you missed the chance to have made another decision, the technology we have now is to be able to get your eggs, get your sperm, fertilize them to form the embryo. Then we do the genetic testing on these embryos. Then we say, okay, this is AA, this is AA, this is AS, this is SS. Then we avoid the SS ones and use the AA or the non-SS one to help you get pregnant. That's what we are doing now currently in Ghana. Some also are not able to afford this and they are already pregnant. Then we do the test where we call prenatal screening. We take a little bit of the fluid around the baby, and that gives us every genetic information about the baby. Then we can say, okay, so this baby is AA, hooray. This baby is AS, hooray. This baby is SS. Then we have a discussion. Are you open for a medical termination? Then it goes on from there. So it's important. There's a national policy to be doing the newborn screening, and that is going to be the game changer, because those who are born with the sickle cell disease itself, we also put them on this new medication called hydroxyurea to minimize the crisis. But that also has some fertility concerns. So it is the whole idea of avoiding sickle cell babies is the way to go through this form of advanced technologies and being selective in our partner choices.
Doc, what if somebody wants to reach you? How do they get to you?
Yeah, so I'm usually at Shape Healthcare Specialist Medical Center, and then like the contact you shared earlier, once they call up, we can schedule them and take care of them.
So the contact is 0302 631880, 0302 631880, or 0549 262 Okay, so you can give them a call and have all your questions that you couldn't ask us addressed for you. But let me just remind you, so thank you very, very much, Dr. Promise Sepogan, for joining us. We should do this often. There are lots of issues. Yes, you want to make a final point?
Yes, producer said I should make a final point, otherwise he won't let me out.
Please do.
So just to say that if you don't have any issues at all and you're planning to embark on pregnancy, preconception care is extremely important. Seek help. Let's optimize your health for both you and your partner before you embark on pregnancy. Then we can talk about medications you are on and how they could impact pregnancy. Some we have to change the medications and then check if there are any concerns. If you are trying to conceive and you're able to meet with your partner up to 3 times a week, or you know that you conceive, you know when you can tell when you're ovulating, and you have regular intimacy during your ovulation for up to a year, pregnancy is not happening, that is infertility. Seek help. If you are, however, 35 years and above and you do this for up to 6 months, it's not happening, there's a problem. Now, male infertility is rising and we are concerned. The dangers or the enemies for male fertility are alcohol consumption, smoking.
Look, repeat those ones again.
The dangers to your fertility as a man are alcohol consumption,
including the bitters.
Okay, no matter what is in the bitters. Smoking, environmental pollution, lifestyle, obesity, and then uncontrolled diabetes and hypertension. These also coincidentally would affect your erection, and so you are losing 2 ways. Okay. So if you have issues with the sperm, we check, and based on what it says, there is solution. On the part of the woman, the dangers to your fertility you should not ignore. As a young lady, if you're having painful menses, do not take it for granted. That is a big concern. Let us investigate and see what is causing the pain in your case. If it's something that can affect your fertility, we address it. Menstrual disorders, like the periods are not coming, 2 or 3 months they come. No, seek help. These could potentially compromise your fertility. Heavy or abnormal bleeding, prolonged bleeding, it is not normal. Seek help. If you don't have a baby, you're not breastfeeding, and you see milk in your breast, there is a problem. We need to deal with it. If you have abnormal vaginal discharge, let it get checked. And what is abnormal? The normal discharge is not too plenty that will wet your underpants. For it to be normal, it shouldn't be too plenty. It shouldn't be colored. It should be clear, or at worst just cloudy. It shouldn't have any unpleasant smell. It shouldn't give you any irritation or itching. Anything apart from this is abnormal. Do not sit on it. Do not self-medicate. Report and let's get it sorted. If you're having a difficulty conceiving, there is help. A lot of our women are going through a lot of psychological, emotional distress, social isolation, intimate partner abuses. Unfortunately, they don't seek help and they are suffering in silence. Seek help. There is help for absolutely every problem relating to fertility, thankfully, now here in Ghana.
Great. Thank you very, very much, Teacher Promise, Dr. Promise Sepogan.
Yes, sir.